Hello, everyone. It's Angie Hartzell. I am your connection specialist, behavioral dog trainer, who's also an animal communicator and pet psychic and medium. And my website is petparentconnection.com. I wanted to do a video today on the house leash. Ooh, this is so overlooked in the training space. It's so overlooked for so many pet parents who are dealing with that dog that is just a little bit too out of control for their liking in certain triggers. So first we want to talk about how dogs just don't feel safe. I have a separate video on dogs that do not feel safe right here on my YouTube channel. I highly recommend that you go watch that video. But I want to help you out with this. So when dogs don't feel safe, they have a trauma response, a stress response, a trigger response that usually escalates very quickly. And that's where we get into dogs that are barking out the door, barking out the window, barking at another animal, barking at people, lunging, being, just territorial of things, whatever the issue may be that you might be dealing with behaviorally with your dog. The house leash is a great, 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 great way. It's so overlooked to keep the connection between you and your dog at your center. So, how you use a house leash is you take a really deep breath and you calm yourself first. Then you approach the dog from that calm standpoint and you place the leash on the dog. When they are at this really, really heightened place, this really, really stressful place, they're reacting from like this static level, like this, like, level, right? And it's very hard for us as dog parents to handle the dog in that state. But when you touch that dog, the brain goes, wait, what? I'm not in control for a half a second. I'm going to look back at you because you touched me. We take that leash and we put it on the dog and we touch that dog. It could be two fingers just right on the side of them. And we just gently pull them down. Even if they're like super crazy at the window and pulling back at you and everything, we're being gentle and calm. Okay. And we're pulling that dog back down to us. And that is how we start to let the dog know that the action that they're giving at the window or the door or at the thing or at the person or whatever doesn't need to be anymore. We get them in front of our body. We touch them with our body touching theirs, our hand, our elbow, whatever it is that we can get to the dog at that moment. And then the third thing is we look for eye contact. If we can make eye contact with our dog, we can train our dog out of that situation. Using a house leash is absolutely beneficial because you're able to put the leash on the dog, and the second that they trigger, you can grab that leash and bring them back to your calm. When you're using a house leash, these are the different ways that you can do it. You can put the leash on the dog before the trigger starts, which is maybe you know that it's a bright sunny day out and you're home today and you know that that dog's going to trigger. Lawnmowers, bicycles, animals, whatever, you name it, FedEx truck, whatever. So you put the leash on in the morning. You can do that. Leave the leash on the whole day. Make sure you're not tripping on it in the home, but leave the leash on all day. And then as the dog triggers, you're going to grab the leash. You're going to pull the dog closer to you, touch the dog. Then you're going to give eye contact. This is such a beautiful place to really be at. If you can get this from your dog, we're going to do beautiful things. The other way that you can use the house leash is in the middle of the trigger, you put the leash on the dog. You walk the dog at least 6 feet away from the trigger. So the window, the door, whatever, walk 6 feet away from the trigger. And then you make eye contact with the dog. And then the third way that you can utilize the leash is when you are in your kitchen and you're doing something, in your kitchen, folding laundry, wherever you are in your house and you're doing something, walk up to the dog calmly, grab the leash, get that dog to make eye contact with you. When we make eye contact with our dog, our brain says, oh, wait, I need to follow my mentor. I need to be in what I call, this is my term, follower mindset. And you, the dog owner, are in mentor mindset. So when we can get the dog in mentor follower mindset, we can literally you're mentoring, they're leading, we can literally change the trajectory of how they handle triggers. Okay. So when that house leash is on your dog all the time, or you just put it on them, whatever it may be, you grabbing that leash very gently. And what I'm going to have you do is just pull that leash closer to you so you're about 12 to 18 inches from the collar, from the neck of the dog. So you have a direct connection with your dog in that moment. And then you look for eye contact. There are so many ways that I've outlined in my ebook how to keep your dog calm even in the dead of winter. If you want to know about how I wrote my ebook, I have a whole video on that. Called, how I wrote my ebook. It literally is the best way to get a connection point with your dog in the moment of stress triggers. Now, we have to remember something. Even though the leash is on and we've got eye contact, that dog's brain is still very, very active. So now we have to move into phase two, which is connecting with your dog deeper. And I go way deeper into that in my ebook. You can learn all about it there. But using the house leash is going to allow you to regain control of how involved the dog's brain gets on its own at the trigger. We want to take the brain and take its power away and allow for it to calm down. And then in turn, that will calm down the body, the nervous system. And you and your dog can connect deeper just from removing your dog from the trigger. The 6 feet away rule is a great rule because not only does it take the dog out of sight of the trigger, but it also lessens the energy that they're feeling from the trigger. So if it's a lawnmower or a barking dog or a cyclist or whatever, the dog will feel the energy of that thing going on outside before it even sees it most times. So we're removing the dog from the energy of it and we're getting them to focus on our energy and our connection. So we can create a deeper connection and deeper training situation from this moment. And then from this moment, all that I need you to do is just focus on your dog and doing little things with your dog that your dog likes. So we're now removing the activity of the brain. We're calming the nervous system, which is the body. Now we're connecting through the eyes, and now we're moving on and kind of shifting perspective into what that dog could be doing in that moment, which is a connection exercise with you. And everything is outlined in my ebook if you want to go deeper into this. But the house leash is beautiful. More people need to use it. If you have guests that are coming over and you know they're coming over, you should place your dog away from the door on a house leash. And we're not grabbing that house leash. We're literally taking 2 fingers and going like this because that's all the dog's nervous system and brain needs to look back at you in the place of being triggered. All right, so I hope that these tips helped you on utilizing a house leash to calm your dog because this is the best way to do it. It's not yelling. We as humans use our voice way too much and it's just not how it's supposed to be. The dog doesn't get it. It comes third in their level of like communicating. So first is energy, second is scent, third is sight, voice is fourth, means nothing. So really think about that. Oh, and touch too. Touch is actually before sight. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so it's really important that you are utilizing a house leash if you have a dog that's really hyper and jumpy and barking and just really reactive in your home. So I hope you found these tips helpful. I really appreciate you. I welcome you into my world at petparentconnection.com. And you can find everything about me there, how I work with dogs, how I work with people, how I help women, everything's there. And I can't thank you enough for choosing you and your dog today. Talk to you soon.